Sidewalks and Skeletons is the creation of UK-based producer Jake Lee, and at the young age of 24, his catalog is prolific. He is an eminent witch house and dark trap producer and has captivated the entire world with his sounds.
So I am here with eminent witch house producer Jake Lee, aka Skeletons and Sidewalks.
That's the one.
Sidewalks and Skeletons. Focusing made the paradox effect happen very quickly. Thank you so much for doing this interview. It will be a pleasure to do this.
Thank you. I love that White Light review video. I saw that. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was completely sincere. That was an amazing album. In fact, we'll get into that pretty shortly. But first, explain to me what darkness means to you. I've been talking to a couple of dark ambient and witch house producers now, and they all have different definitions of what darkness is to you. The last one I talked to was Thomas Shinji, who explained to me that it wasn't darkness for him at all. It was, in fact, melancholy. So explain what that means to you in your music.
Yeah. I guess, well, I've always been drawn to like darker things in an artistic way and in general. It's just like always been part of me, really. So I knew when I started making music that naturally it was going to be coming from a dark place. I guess I just feel like there's a lot more to sort of explore in darker things. And I guess, like you say, melancholy as well. There's quite a broad spectrum of it, really. Like you probably noticed, especially in like White Light, it goes through sort of phases. And I think it's always like the music that I've been making is always sort of like a constant reflection of my state of mind. So like, I guess sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, you know, just like anyone really, I guess.
Awesome, awesome. So it's essentially for you a natural part of the cycle of life.
Yeah.
You tend towards it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you get into witch house, into the scene and into the music genre? Describe all that a bit for me.
I've been like searching for a certain sound for a while. I sort of had an idea in my mind what I wanted to find, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. And then I found Crystal Castles, and that sort of sparked something in me straight away. I just feel like I'd found what I was looking for. So I sort of explored more, and I found more artists like, you know, Crimes and Salem and White Ring. It just sort of like blew my mind. It was like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I was already making music at that point, but it was more like, you know, like horror soundtracks and stuff like that. It was just really weird, warped, like dark stuff. And then I guess like the witch house like influence sort of took over. And I suppose at that point is when you could say I sort of found myself artistically, and like it needed to happen. That sort of influence needed to come in for me to realise where I wanted to be with my music. So I don't know. I guess that's how it all came about, really.
Yeah, it sounds pretty organic to me. At least it's better than a lot of people's stories of just being on Spotify. So that's cool. I was on Spotify and I heard this one artist and I went down a hole and found the other ones. Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of like the every genre of music is my favorite genre statement of 2015. Is there a difference between Jake Lee and Sidewalks and Skeletons, or is this just, you know, a vehicle?
I don't know. That's a good one, really, because I mean, obviously, Sidewalks and Skeletons comes like from a part of me, so in a way, it is the same. But I don't know. I suppose as a person, you know, there's always a wider spectrum. So I'm drawing from one certain aspect of, I guess, myself, but not all of it, if you get what I mean. Just like the artist.
I do get what you mean. I don't really have that big of an attachment to any musical persona I've ever had. Like really, it's always been just kind of like a means to an end. Essentially,
yeah.
It's always just been me. So I understand that absolutely. What do you love about Witch House, and what needs to change?
I love everything about it, really. Like, it still excites me. I mean, I found it, you know, it's quite a few years ago now that I found it, and then when I started making it. But I guess the only thing that really needs to change is just, like, for some of the newer artists that are popping up now, a lot of them sound quite similar, and it's just sort of one of them things where you think like, I hope that they're gonna sort of go their own way rather than just sort of think that they're following a formula. If you get me, like I know I guess like a lot of witch house artists use very similar sounds because I mean in any genre there's always going to be similarities, but it's like I guess just some people seem like they're just trying to like I guess what it's like an artist painting a picture and then somebody else looks at it and says, "Oh, that's great, I'll paint the same picture," rather than looking at it and saying, "Oh, that sparked something in me, and I'm gonna draw from what that makes me feel to create something from myself." You get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's going through that phase where all genres of music eventually go through, where it becomes highly copied. There still are those gems, though, every once in a while. I live for those, specifically in Witch House, because there's always a chill vibe to it. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you get one of those special songs that you just got to listen to over and over again, you got to do all your activities while you listen to it. When you find that special song and it's a chill song, specifically a dark Witch House chill one, oh, it's special. It's special as hell. It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm searching for one right now, actually, like a one I haven't metabolized yet. So,
Right.
so tell me about your artistic triumph that is White Light. Tell me about the genesis of it. What was it like going through it, producing it, and whatnot?
Yeah, well, thank you for calling it an artistic triumph. But like, I wasn't really sure midway through it, but towards the end, everything sort of slotted into place. I knew that it was going to be one of the stronger ones. I mean, I feel most confident about that album. But I guess I started making it straight after I finished Future Ghosts because I was still sort of on a bit of a creative high. So, like, White Light was the name of like a fictional drug from a film called Goth. So I watched like years and years ago now. I watched it on like, you know, when you're watching like Sky channels, like the horror channel and stuff, like 3 a.m. A stupid film came on, and it was just ridiculous. But for some reason, I loved it, so I downloaded it since then. It took me ages to find it because it's that like, you know, nobody has like really watched this film apart from people who stay up and watch ridiculous low budget films. But I downloaded it and I watched it again, and I thought, yeah, I do actually really like this film, even though it's really cheesy. So I took samples from that, and they're in the title track of White Light. And yeah, I wouldn't really advise anyone to go watch it because it's not brilliant. But for me, it's just, I don't know, I just liked something about it. You know what I mean? When you can sort of feel something within a film or a song that you just connect with, and you're just like, yeah, I like this. So it was one of them really. So I sampled that, and you know, obviously there's a track called Goth on the album as well. So it's sort of got a running theme from that, but at the same time, it's very disconnected, so it is a strange one. But I mean, some of the tracks I started quite a long time ago, and then some of them I finished very close to the actual release of the album. Like Underwater Sun was quite a while ago, but I knew it was going to be on the next album, and I knew it was going to be the last track, so that was already set in stone. And then I made like Rapture, which is very similar to Underwater Sun, but I sort of regret putting that on the album, if I'm honest, because I don't really like it now. When I listened to, at the time when I made it, I thought, oh, I like where like all that distortion comes in. I think it sounds, you know, quite nice. But when I listen to it now, I just think, nah, that just sounds shit. So I sort of regret putting that one on. Yeah.
Well, I think the album, first of all, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of that album is how cohesive it is, how put together it is. I mean, it's naturally. It's meant to have a physical copy to listen to. It's kind of put together like that. I love that. That's still done by great people, and I think it's still a bar that gets set by people like you. We can listen to it from beginning to end. There is really feels like there's a message. There feels like there is a logical sequence that you're really going through. It's not just slapped together. So it's fascinating to me to hear that you had some of those songs were previous projects that just didn't resolve yet, because it really does feel like then it did come together almost in a fatalistic way, where there was, you know, it all was perfect. So that's awesome. Maybe that's the magic of White Light. that just happens sometimes, and I really do feel that on that album. It wasn't just false genuflection. It was for real. When I listened to that album, I was like, oh shit, this is good. And every time I talk to someone on Facebook that doesn't know Witch House or anything like that, I send them that album. I'm like, you just gotta listen to this. Just listen to that. And people always unanimously are like, oh fuck, that's amazing. That's good. So I'm telling you right now, that's literally my experience with preaching the gospel of white light to people. So
You're doing a really good job at helping get it out there.
what motivations still drive you when you create?
I suppose just like getting excited about tracks. Like I'm always striving for that feeling where you know you've made a track that you're actually excited about. So I just keep trying to sort of get that. It's like getting a fix. You know what I mean? Like you can make a load of tracks and just be like, they were okay, but then you get one of them that sort of just excites you. Like when you listen to it, you just know that was like a really good. The way it all came together just flowed really nicely. So I'm sort of always like looking for that. Like, I mean, tracks like Forever, that happened with that one. As soon as I made that one, I knew, like, yeah, I'm really glad I made this track. And like Underwater Sun and stuff, that would literally just playing around on my guitar, probably about 2 in the morning, just jamming really, just like with my headphones on and stuff. And like, I got this little melody going and I just thought, I'll record that and then, you know, tomorrow I'll work on it. But when I recorded it, I was just like, no, I need to work on it now. So I just stayed up all night and, you know, just put it all together. And it's stuff like that that sort of drives me, because it's just that feeling, you know, when you're making music that you can get excited about. So it's for that, really.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. There's some part of you that you have to exercise where it just becomes foul, you know, it just becomes kind of cantankerous inside of you. You need to exercise that department of your brain, and you get that rush at the end of it every time. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, it's completely understandable. Would you rather be hated or forgotten?
Yeah, neither of those are preferable. But if I did have to pick one, I'd say forgotten, because that wouldn't stop me. I'd probably just carry on like a ghost, just floating around making music, and probably still, you know, get excited about it by myself. But it would suck because so I like really appreciate like support from other people, because I didn't expect to get that when I started making music. I just started putting it on SoundCloud because I thought I'm going to store it somewhere online just in case my laptop breaks again. So when it started, you know, picking up and people started commenting on it and stuff, that support was one of the things that really fueled me to want to carry on and stuff like that. So, I mean, but like I say, if I was forgotten, I'd still make music. I'll probably still be making music when I'm like, whatever age I live to. I don't know. It's what I was doing.
You seem to have kind of an experimental scientist quality to you as an artist. It really seems like that. You get off in the community, you get off in exploration. These things kind of, you know, you really love the experience of doing it. It's fascinating. What is your guilty musical pleasure?
I don't know really, because I'm not really. If I like something, I'm not really guilty about it. But I mean, I guess like, you know, like Death Grips and stuff like that. I don't know, when I first heard them, I'm like, what's this? But then, I don't know, it just grew on me. You know what I mean? You listen to it once, and you sort of just like, I'm not sure about this. And then, after like a few listens, you start like learning all the words and everything, and you just get really into it. So, I don't know. And now I have like every Death Grips album on my phone.
That's the story of Death Grips, isn't it? That's literally the way it always happens. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is that? And then are listening to it and you're like, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It's not that you understand it, it's the cadence. Like, you got to get used to the cadence. And then once you get used to this kind of what seems to be like a cacophony of cadence, then you realize order and all that chaos. And you're like, oh, I get it. And there's a message in the order as well. Yeah, it's crazy. Death Grips is, they're going to be something 20 years from now in musical history. Yeah. I don't know why, but they're going to be that.
I need to see him live, like, desperately. The beat on the bass, just blasting and everything, you know what I mean? Especially the power.
Here is the time travel, or actually the time travel and collab, and then a funny option in the middle question. Go back in time to 1983 with give a bath. Right? This is not have to be an intimate bath, but you have to have someone in a bathtub and you have to be giving them a bath.
Right.
Collaborate with, and we have A, Ian Curtis, B, Janet Jackson, and C, Morrissey.
Yeah. So I'd go back in time to 1983 with Morrissey, even though I don't really listen to Morrissey, but I'd go back in time because he was probably like on a mad run and it would have been fun to be there. And I'd give a bath to Janet Jackson because why not? You know, there you go. And collaborate with Ian Curtis. I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, we are talking about an alternate universe where he's kind of reanimated.
Yeah.
He's not a zombie. He never died. And
Although being a zombie might help in the collab. If he's collabing with Sidewalks and Skeletons, it might be helpful for him to be somewhat.
that would be awesome, actually. Yeah. I am a zombie. Yeah, that would be an amazing collaboration for the world to see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jake Lee. It's been a pleasure. Is there any plugs you want to give? Any kind of advertisements? Where you're going to be? What you're going to do? Go ahead and announce it all.
Right. Well, I've done like 5 remixes recently, and none of them have been put out yet. So like I'm waiting for the original artists to put them out. So there's one with Occult Cat, there's one with Pastel Ghost, there's one with Bit Wolf, there's one with MXMS, and there's Crystal Castles remixes as well. So all of those will be coming out really soon. But like I'm just waiting for, well, 4 or 5. I'm waiting for them to put them out before I release them. Just out of respect, obviously, because they'll be putting them out on their albums and things like that, which is great. So plugging those 5, I guess. And yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to interview me and thinking I'm worth interviewing. Thank you very much.
Oh no, you're a premier artist. It's obvious. It's something that's very manifest. Trust me. One more question though is you're playing live shows now, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So how is that going for you now? Is it a learning experience? Is it something new or?
It's ace, man. Like I never really thought that I'd be like at the stage where I was doing live shows with this, because in the past I've always been in bands, you know, like being in, you know, I've always been like a guitarist and stuff like that. So I've done lots of gigs and stuff like that before. But with this, I thought it'd be just like, you know, like a hobby side project. I didn't really expect it to go the way it has. So now where it's at this point, I'm just like really excited and it's all like really new. So when people actually turn up to the shows and stuff like that, it's brilliant. Like looking up, sometimes like if you've seen like the live videos or anything, like I look up barely at all, because every time I look up it like throws me off and I don't want to start hitting all the wrong notes. It's just like there's actually people here, you know what I mean? It's just weird. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm enjoying it.
They've been pretty good performances though. I mean, like I said, I want to see more and more Witch House artists out on the stage, you know what I mean, out on the road and everything. That's where things really change with all this underground electronic music. I mean, it's exactly what happened to every top act in Witch House or just about any of these genres, these new genres of music. Every one of them that's hit the road and really honed their stagecraft, man, they went to the top of the scene. So yeah, I'm always happy to see someone like you trying that out, trying to get something going on with that, because it's the next step. So awesome. Good on you for that.
Did you hear about Limp Bizkit? Did you hear about that? I got an email from Limp Bizkit's like representative or something in North America, and I was like, I wanted to see them go on like a North American tour or so. I was just like, no way. You know what I mean? Because that was when I'd only done one show. So I was like, how am I going to go on tour with like Limp Bizkit? And then I couldn't even get like my visa and my passport sorted out in time. So like Black Ceiling went instead, but I'm gutted that I missed that, because that would have been brilliant. Seeing Black Ceiling and Limp Bizkit on the same night would have been hilarious.
That is insane. That is insane. I didn't even know that. You know what? Here's the thing. It's smart for them to try that out, because You've got to give new metal something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe Fred Durst listens to Witch House.
You have to have, it's like vaudeville. Like you have to have like different things for new metal to be relevant again. So you have to have some Witch House people over here and some clowns over here and some things like that. Man, that's so crazy. All those acts now, like Korn and Limp Bizkit, they're like grouping together. It's like a dying ecosystem that's going on. They're like grouping together in different places, trying to scrape by some more things to eat, some more food, and grass and seeds and things like that. It's crazy.
Grass and seeds.
Because they're herbivores, naturally herbivores. Thank you so much again. It's been an absolute pleasure. When you do something else, you'll be back here again, trust me, and I will be reviewing whatever album you'll be coming out with next. So thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Talk to you soon.